Hey guys, welcome to the Xbox Ultimate Podcast, Episode 2. I'm Mav, and I am just getting started with this again. I don't know if y'all checked out my first episode, but go back and check that one out. We're here to talk about games, especially Xbox, and I kind of like to run through what's been going on with the last week of news and game announcements or whatever's been the talk, and let's just gonna give you a rundown now of kind of what we're gonna talk about on this episode. So we're gonna be talking about a little bit about Apple and their craziness. Talk about some game streaming and just in general, like kind of what that means for the future of games and Xbox. Also, maybe some game announcements that were made this week. We'll talk a little bit about that. Some Sony stuff that how that could impact Xbox going in the future. There's some rumors there, and we'll just talk about some more even than that. So let's just jump into the first topic. So first, I'm going to start talking about the Apple restrictions for Xcloud. So Xcloud is going to be massive. Okay, with the Game Pass Ultimate and everything. So they don't need Apple. However, not having Apple is a big hit on their potential sales of subscriptions, because 40% of mobile devices are Apple products. So that's 40% less potential consumers, right? Now, Apple's come right out and said on Twitter that, yeah, it's our policies that are keeping Google Stadia, Xbox's Xcloud service, and also now Facebook's Facebook Live app is going to have less features than Android, and that's all because of these policies that they have. So these other corporations, Facebook and Google and Microsoft, have been talking about how those policies need to change. You should have more of an open environment for allow more for your customers. And I agree. I'm an Apple customer. I can't have access to this stuff that I want, so it makes me angry. When other devices out there are going to be able to have it, and it's just these policies that are keeping it from happening. And it's because Apple has this closed infrastructure. They want a cut of everything. They want complete oversight of everything that goes into their device. So they don't do it for TV streaming like Netflix and stuff like that, and they don't do it for movies. It's still streaming, right? So there's no reason that they should do it for games, other than the fact that they have their own game streaming service, or not streaming service, but they have their own game service that they started, and they probably don't want somebody having a better service than theirs on their platform, because they'll sell less subscriptions. So as far as that goes, I guess that makes sense, other than the fact that if they have this service on their devices, and they're probably going to sell more Apple products, and you're going to lose sales now because you're not going to have it compared to your competitors. So, with this streaming technology taking off more, and more different things are doing this kind of thing, unless they change their policies, they're going to be left in the dust. So I think a lot of people are going to switch. Personally, I can't right now because my devices are tied up with work, and I have to use them because we use a lot of Apple things. But I definitely going to be getting a cheap Android tablet, and it's not going to impact the success of Xcloud whatsoever. I mean, if you just think about the amount of users out there, it is so many. There's a crazy amount of Android devices out there. So it's not just mobile devices. It's not just tablets. It's also TVs. It's also other set-top box devices and things like that. So all of these different devices, you're going to be able to have Xcloud on. So the amount of potential consumer growth and subscription growth for Microsoft with their service is massive. It's immense. They're going to have the best content to provide on a service like that. They're coming out with their first party exclusive games day one. They're the only ones doing that with a subscription. So, and also a lot of third party games come out day one. Recently, we had Carry On come out on there, and that game is having success because of Game Pass. So, the potential for this is huge. Now, if you even want to go deeper into that, think about the outreach of a service like this, and all these people getting free trials when they buy Samsung devices. And if you really want to think about the amount of people that are going to have access to console quality games that have never had them before, if you think about the amount of people that are going to just buy a new TV that has, you're going to be able to get the Xcloud app on it, right? The Game Pass app or whatever. And hey, let's check this out. Oh, it's I can play Halo. All I got to pay is $14.99, or I get it free for a month. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try that out. Wow, it plays great. Cool. I'm gonna keep this service. And you just imagine that piling on, and the amount of people that could potentially have access to this content. And now, what does that mean for developers and publishers? Well, publishers want their games in as many people's hands as possible. That's why mobile gaming is so huge. That's why all these publishers have been investing in mobile gaming. That's why, like I talked about in one of my other videos, WB Games, like if you go on their list of all their studios, a lot of them have a heavy emphasis on mobile games because of the amount of devices out there. So if you have Microsoft that has not only Xbox, but they also got the PC market, and then they're also going to have all of these other devices that are all Android devices, millions upon millions, way more than any kind of console is ever going to sell. The amount of outreach to consumer from game publishers is crazy. And you don't have to limit your games anymore to the confines of a phone or a tablet. You can design your games around a console so you can have bigger, better games, and they're just going to be playable on those other devices now through streaming. So gaming has already seen a boom, especially with the pandemic, but it's about to explode. People are going to be experiencing the console level quality games that they've never been playing before, because it's going to be easy and it's going to be accessible. They're not going to have this $500 barrier or $400 or $300 when they see, a game console that looks intimidating for them. People are already used to using a phone. You're used to using a tablet. They can figure out how to use a controller. It's that whole ease of access, ease of jumping into a new product. And if you get it for free and all you got to go is spend $30 on a controller, $40 on a controller or whatever, people are going to give that a try. And the amount of people that are going to be trying this that haven't before means that publishers are going to want to put out more games on the platform where it's reaching more consumers. So just think about an indie developer or publisher, and they have their first game that they want to put out there, like let's say Carry On, for example. If they launch it and it's available at hundreds of millions of households and people's devices, that potential for that game is way higher than if it was just available on one device that had a limited amount of consumers. So, I think in the long run, as this subscription service keeps growing and we see more subscribers, Microsoft isn't worried about the amount of console sales. It's going to be subscriptions. So as we see, let's say they get to a crazy number of subscriptions, you're going to see a lot more games being pushed onto that platform. And that's exciting. It's exciting because not just because I'm an Xbox fan, but because I am a fan of gaming moving forward into ease of access and having my games in multiple places and having more options. And not only if you think about that, but also the willingness of companies to put more money into games, more companies starting up to make games because it's a bigger business. There's more people out there for more niche markets, so it's an exciting time, and I'm excited to see how that impacts Xbox and how it's going to be in the future. So, we've got some interesting things in store, definitely. So I want to go down to some other things that has kind of been rumored, and some, how Microsoft is going this one direction, right? So with Xbox and the Game Pass Ultimate and the Xcloud, we have the opposite approach over at Sony and with the PlayStation. And it's not a wrong approach. I like that approach too, and I talked about it on a YouTube video. And you're going to see this episode on YouTube also. So check it out if you want the live cam version. But PlayStation has that approach of this is our device. We're going to put awesome content on this device. We're going to focus on this device, and so because they're focused on that, they want to sell a lot of that one device, right? And how they're doing that is through exclusive deals. And so some more rumors have been going on this week that we're going to be shocked at the exclusive deals that they're going to be putting out there. Like multi-platform games that we expect to be multi-platform games might be either exclusive or timed exclusive on PlayStation. Maybe similar to the way they did Street Fighter, the last Street Fighter game that came out. That one was kind of a surprise, right? So I think we might see more of that with these rumors going on. And, that doesn't necessarily bother me so much as what they did with their Spider-Man franchises, Spider-Man game, how they're doing not Miles Morales on the PS4, that's only making it on the PS5 when I think they could make it compatible on the PS4, just a lower version of it. And also you have the Spider-Man exclusive content on a multi-platform game. I don't like that either, because that's just them throwing money at them, and not just one platform, but PC also. So everybody else is going to get less content for the same price than PlayStation will. So that's kind of a bummer. And I know they're just trying to get more sales, and it's a business move, but that's one of the crappier ones. You know what I mean? And the fact that they're doing it with Spider-Man bothers me. But I've talked about that several times, so I won't get too much into that, even though it sucks. But what they are doing and what's they're rumored to be doing, and I'm more okay with this because people don't realize, I think, that sometimes this is how games actually get published or made, is because of the money that's thrown around with this stuff. And sometimes a game may not be even created if it's not for a deal like this. We've seen that before where, maybe a third party or a multi-platform publisher, like Activision or EA, is kind of on the fence about something, they don't know if they're going to get a return on the investment, and maybe they go seek a partner for that game, or maybe Sony really wants a game on their platform, and they're talking, okay, what's a game that we can help green light, and get the ball rolling on. And sometimes it's not just about throwing money around to get a game created on that's exclusive for your platform. Sometimes it's actually helps the game get created. So I'm more okay with full games that are exclusive to a platform, or timed exclusive even, because I think that helps sometimes games reach their potential or be created in the first place. And I personally, I'm going to own all platforms anyway, so it doesn't affect me as much where I can't play, you know, let's say when a Tomb Raider was a timed exclusive on Xbox, right? Or Street Fighter was an exclusive last time on PlayStation. And that stuff, it doesn't bother me that much because I can play the game. Now, when it's a piece of content that's exclusive, that's a major piece of content, that's kind of, you know, crummy because it's not just the whole thing exclusive to that platform. You're just keeping a little piece of it for yourself, right? And I think that's more of just greediness of trying to drive people to your platform as opposed to actually they didn't need to do that to get that game created or anything like that. You know, they were already creating this game, and they say, okay, let's add this character, right? We're only going to let you use it over here, but we're going to pay you for it, right? So it's that kind of thing is I'm not a huge fan of. But let's say that if you had that Tomb Raider game, they weren't planning on making it. But Microsoft's like, oh, we needed another adventure game. You know, we have a hole in our lineup. You know, we'll help publish this game, but we want it only on our console because we don't want to help fund the game and it go to our competitor. You know, so that's different. You know, I don't know how extensive it's going to go. You know, I think to what Sony's probably trying to do this time is maybe not so much on the games that are on the fence. I think they're trying to get some big fish that are going to be made anyway, probably. But it doesn't bother me that much with that because I think there's going to be enough exclusive games going around, and Microsoft is going to have its advantages, and Sony's going to have its advantages, and I'm going to enjoy playing games on all the platforms. But we'll see what it is. You know, maybe I'll have a different take after they reveal something. You know, like if it's the Suicide Squad game that was just revealed, you know, by Rocksteady, they just put a teaser on Twitter. If it's that game and that game is exclusive to PlayStation, that's going to be surprising. And that would be the fact that they're just throwing tons of money at them to say, hey, no, we want that game only over here so to make people buy PlayStations. And you know what? It'll work. And that's okay, I guess. You know, but that one will hurt a lot of people. You know, so we'll see what kind of games it is. Rumors are that it's going to be shocking and surprising, and people are going to be upset. So we'll see. I don't know. You know, if it's like Street Fighter and stuff like that, you know, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? You know, if it's like NBA 2K, no, that's not okay. You know, if it's Madden, that's not okay. If it's any of these major long-time franchises that are always multi-platform and people are expecting a yearly or every other year release, you know, let's like Call of Duty, right? If it was, that would be crazy. You know, I don't think that they're going to do anything bananas like that, you know, but, you know, we'll see. I think crazier things have happened. Going back onto that, though, Suicide Squad. So Suicide Squad is pretty exciting because they announced that they had this teaser image, and you know this game's been rumored for a long time as one of those not so well kept secrets where everybody kind of knew it existed, especially with the rumors of Microsoft potentially purchasing WB Games. It has been talked about quite a bit. So I think that based on the image that they revealed, it was a picture of Superman with a target on his head. So they're kind of sending a message that this is going to be a more mature game, you know, and it's going to be an interesting take on it. And so some of the rumors, though, are that it's kind of a games of service type game. So we'll see what that means. You know, there's a lot of that right now. But I can tell you based on Rocksteady, whatever they make is probably going to be amazing. Because if you go back and play Arkham Knight, which was the last release, and I think that came out like 6 years ago, um, that game still holds up. The visuals could be better now. They had kind of this grainy look to it, and I think it was because it was kind of close to after the new consoles had come out, and um, if you look at games when they make these jumps, like for 5 years, 6 years, it's going to be a leap. It's going to be a massive improvement on what that was, and that was already great. So it's going to be interesting to see what that game's like, and I'm excited about it. The mature take on it, and Suicide Squad means you're assuming you're going to play as multiple characters. I think it could be better than this Avengers game, and one thing, it seems, except for Spider-Man, it seems like DC gets it right with games. It seems like DC gets it right with TV shows. It seems like Marvel kind of screws up a little bit on games at times. And it seems like Marvel screws up on TV shows quite a bit, but does really well on movies, right? So, based on the smash hit games that DC's been having, I think, especially with Rocksteady, that this is going to be another probably stellar game. So we'll see. I think it was the 22nd. They said that there's going to be a more revealed. So we'll find out more about that game at the DC event that they're going to have. So I'm excited about that. I'm kind of hoping it's like, you can choose your character, maybe go on, missions where there's different ways of approaching the levels depending on which character you choose. Maybe a co-op type deal. That game, there's so many different things they could do. So we'll see what they come up with. I don't know how you can hunt Superman in a video game, because Superman is Superman. I don't know anybody on the Suicide Squad that should have a chance at even doing anything. I mean, Lex Luthor, I guess. Bring out the kryptonite and all that stuff. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see kind of what they come up with to be able to take on Superman. But that's kind of what they're hinting at, on that teaser image. So we'll see. And going back to the Avengers game now, because I was actually just watching gameplay of that on Twitch. So I've said crappy game and stuff too. I'm kind of, I'm a little hurt because of the Spider-Man thing. I think it sucks. But, after watching some of the gameplay, the graphics and stuff seem pretty good. What it seems like to me is like it seems like a better graphics, better like third person perspective, Marvel Ultimate Alliance style game that's in a different perspective, but it's like an online service game. I don't know if you know what I mean. It kind of has that old school beat 'em up type combat and stuff to it. Like licensed games always used to be, where every time there was a superhero movie or something come out, there was some crappy game that came out right along with it, and it was those games got like, I won't say completely crappy, because a lot of those games ended up being pretty good. Like the Wolverine game was pretty good. But those games usually reviewed like between a 6 and a 7, and they would be okay at times, and the other ones would be complete trash. But they all had this kind of generic combat, and this game seems like you're kind of taking on generic enemies, kind of like I'm not trying to trash on Ultimate Alliance because I actually like Ultimate Alliance, but Ultimate Alliance is what it is, you know? And this game is trying to be more than that. And it looks like it's a reskinned version of something like that, where with better graphics, but the same kind of generic combat and enemies and stuff, you know. So we'll see. I think the aspect of that game that could be cool is the upgrading of your armor and equipment. It could grab you as a never-ending quest to keep improving your character and keep customizing it. And that's going to be up to them with how much content they keep putting out, how much they're investing into the game, and how they keep adding on to it. So if they keep coming out with awesome characters and keep pumping out new items and outfits to upgrade your characters, it could be really cool. But I think the gameplay in itself is not necessarily going to be the selling point on the game. It's going to be kind of like a loot grinding game, you know. So we'll see. You know, I'll give it a chance for sure. I'm not just going to shut it out. You know, I'll probably wait until the next gen version comes out, because you know I do want to play with Spider-Man, but I don't want to buy the game on PS4 because I'm afraid, well, maybe they already did announce that you're going to get the enhanced version for free. I think they did. But I was afraid that on PlayStation I'm not going to get the enhanced version for free when it comes out. So we'll see about that. I got to look into that. If the game does have upgradable, the free upgrade to the next gen version when it comes out, then I'll go ahead and get the PlayStation version. If not, then I'm just going to wait. We'll see. Yeah, I might change my mind and just get the Xbox version. I don't know. It depends on if any of my friends are going to play it. If my friends play it, then I'm going to get the Xbox version, because that way I can hang out and play with my friends. But anyway, moving on from that, I wanted to talk about pricing. So that's, it kind of goes into what I was talking about. I don't know what game to. I don't know where to buy this game right now, because I don't know anything about what the systems and how much they're going to cost or anything like that either. Like, how much is the PlayStation 5 going to cost? How much is the Series X going to cost? You know, I really would like to know this, because I'm definitely getting the Series X day one. I haven't seen enough of a reason necessarily to get the PS5 day one. I saw Godfall on the PlayStation event that they had yesterday. It looked pretty cool, you know. I'm going to want to play Spider-Man Miles Morales, but, you know, I can wait if that's really the only exclusive, like, at launch besides Godfall. I can wait on those two games. You know, I'm going to want to play the heck out of Halo Infinite, and I'm going to want to play the best experience with it. So, you know, Xbox Series X, absolute day one for me. I'm going to want my enhanced versions. I have this pile up right now of games that I can't bring myself to play, because I know in a few months there's going to be this update that I'm going to be able to play this game in a better version. So I am having a tough time actually with that. I'm developing this backlog of games that I haven't finished. I haven't finished Gears 5 because of that. You know, I haven't finished I haven't even started Control because of that. You know, it's becoming a thing right now. So I want to play the best version of these games, and especially these story-based games. I'm not the type of guy that usually goes and plays the same story over and over and over again. So if I'm going to play through the story, then I'm going to be done with the game. And I know that there's a better version of it coming out soon. I think I want to wait. But so I want to know how much this console is and when it's coming out. I need to know. I think everybody needs to know. It's freaking August the 7th right now. August the 7th. And we do not know how much the consoles are. Are they $400? Are they $500? Are they $600? Are they $700? It could be any of those. We don't know. If they're $400 or $500 each, I might go ahead and get both of them. I want the pre-orders to go live. I want to be able to go on the website and try and lock one down. But we have no clue right now, and we don't even know when they're going to announce it. Are they going to shadow drop? Or not shadow drop, but are they going to just randomly announce the price on Twitter? Are they going to have some leaks come out first, unintentionally, and then see what the feedback is, and then reveal the price? That would be my bet. They'll probably get somebody like a website that they're going to have one of their interns like, hey, I work for Microsoft and I know what the price is. Here's my information, and then the website will leak it. Hey, this is the price, but they don't have to stand behind that because it was leaked. It wasn't 100% truth. It's just rumor, right? So if they have somebody like that do something, and this stuff's gone on in the past, because they want to know what people's feedback is. If let's say they leak the price and it's $500, right? And everybody's like, "Oh, okay, cool, $500." Then when they announce it, people will be pleased. But if they say $500, people are like, "Oh, Microsoft, you should make it $400." Blah 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 blah. The pandemic and all this stuff. Then they might look at maybe reducing it before they announce it, because they don't want to have negative press, and they also don't want their competitor to beat them. My thing is this: if you have flexibility in your pricing to where you can be lower to beat your competitor or any other reason, and that's a viable strategy for you, then just go ahead and find your bottom line and announce the price now. So that way people can prepare and pre-order and know how much they're going to have to spend on games and Christmas, for their kids, and all this kind of stuff. So I think it's time that they announce these things. So we'll see when they do it and how much it's going to be. But it needs to be soon. Come on, guys. It's been going on too long, especially on... I think it's more important on PlayStation side, because on the Xbox side, you're going to have other options. You can buy your games on PC. You can get a subscription service to Xcloud, and you can play their exclusive games on your tablet and stuff. So, as far as Xbox is concerned, it probably isn't as important as it is for Sony, where that's going to be the only way to experience those games. So for Sony, I think they really need to announce the price first, and be confident in it, and just announce your price. Their whole business right now is structured on selling the console as the main platform. So if what you're doing with all these exclusive deals, and all this third-party exclusives and everything is to sell your console, and you're getting all these little shows to hype people up about the console, be confident in your price and go ahead and announce it, so that way people can start pre-ordering it. unless they're afraid that Microsoft is going to undercut them on the price. And that's why I think this is happening. They're playing a game right now. So Sony doesn't want Microsoft to come under them on the price. So they want to see what Microsoft's going to do. And I think it's, if they're that confident in their exclusives and their games lineup, which they should be, and they're putting all this money into all these exclusives, they should be able to charge $600, right? They've done it before. So we'll see what they do. But I think that time is now. They should have announced it at the event they had yesterday. That had to be what the plan was, because there was something missing from that event. I think they were sending a message that we're not going to announce it until you do, Microsoft. And that's why at the end of the show, it just kind of ended. And it's like, okay. I know that they had already said like a week ago that there's not going to be any hardware talk or whatever. And I said on Twitter at that time, by the way, follow me on Twitter, Fun Speculation. That's what they said at that time. I thought that they were sending a message with that tweet that, hey, we're not going to announce it before you do, Microsoft. And they're going back and forth with each other. And then at the show, it seemed like something was missing. I think they originally had planned this and announced it, that they were doing this August thing with the intention of announcing the price. And they were expecting Xbox to have already done the same. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe Microsoft isn't as concerned with it because they have Xcloud to fall back on, and they're going to sell subscriptions anyway. I don't know why Xbox isn't doing it, but I can tell you, I think almost 100% Sony isn't doing it because Microsoft hasn't done it yet. And maybe Microsoft wants to make sure they're under no matter what it is. But, you know, just give us your bottom line. Both companies. Just tell us, bottom line, what's the cheapest you can possibly sell this console for? Are you going to take a loss per console? Are you not? Just give us the price. And these things are going to sell out. If you saw the numbers on all of this hardware sales and game software sales, and like freaking Animal Crossing selling 22 million copies. Holy crap. You know, every platform and device is up right now. People are hungry for this stuff because they ain't got nothing else to do. So announce it so we can pre-order it, and we're going to buy it. Don't make it too expensive. Make it cheap. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We got possible recession. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen with the economy, but you know, we want entertainment still. And sports is coming back, sort of. You know, it's back, but is it really? You know, it's kind of okay. You know, we still don't have movies at theaters, really. We got Mulan coming on Disney Plus for $30. I don't really understand that deal, if you're going to be able to keep it the whole time, because I remember the last time we did that was for Trolls World Tour, because my daughter's really excited about that movie, and we did that, right? And I was expecting, after we paid I think that one was $20, so we paid to watch that, but it went away as like a rental. So if I'm paying $20, you know, I guess I expect to keep it, because that's the same price that you're going to sell the movie for later. But I guess they're trying to replace the theater experience, but you're not getting the theater experience. You're watching it at home, right? So I don't know. You know, I don't think people are having huge watching parties for this stuff, you know, where you're going to have 50 people over at your house to watch a movie. You know, I think they could probably afford to, if it's a rental, to sell it for less. You know, $15 maybe, or just give it to us and let us keep it. Maybe that's what it is this time. I hope that's what it is. $30 is, you know, a lot to ask to only have something for a couple days or whatever. So, you know, we'll see how that does. I know we're excited to watch it because we like those Disney movies, and that one looks really good. But if you're doing that for Mulan, why not do it for Black Widow? I mean, you could always release these movies later at the theater. They're gonna, because people still want to see this stuff in the theater, and it will never have been seen at the theater before. So let us have this, at least have it at home, and then we'll see it on the theater later. Well, I'm getting sidetracked here, but so basically, games is all we got right now because we got this other craziness going on with movies and TV and stuff, and the sports are sort of back, but I don't know. We'll see. So, you know, with all of the pricing talk and that comes the next Microsoft event. What are they going to do? Right? They obviously seem like they held stuff back from the Xbox Games Showcase because it was rumored that Sony had stuff that they had held back. People were talking about God of War 2, maybe some other things, So what does Microsoft have in store that they held back? Well, we didn't see Hellblade 2 gameplay at the Games Showcase. So there's always that. So we could get Xbox Game Showcase Hellblade 2 that should have been shown. We could get that at this next event. We could get the other first-party studios may get a couple of announcements. Because they mentioned we'll have more later this year on the other first-party studios at the end of that Game Showcase. So I would expect maybe 2 or 3 game announcements. But I would expect more talk about the hardware. I would also expect an announcement of the Series S device or Lockhart, whatever it's going to be called. There was a white controller seen in the wild for Xbox Series X controller. Maybe that was a Series S controller. I don't know if anybody really thought about that. Maybe the Series S is white. So, what is that console going to look like? How much is it going to cost? What are the features? Maybe they were planning on not announcing the Series X price until they announce the Series S and then give us both prices at once. That could potentially be the reason we haven't gotten a price announcement. And also, you got to think Sony's side, they got 2 consoles also that they got to announce the price for because they got the digital only edition, right? So how much less is that going to be? These are the decisions people got to think about and make. And if you're buying games right now, also, you got to think about compatibility, backwards compatibility, forwards compatibility, and disc versus digital, and all this kind of stuff. So let us know so people can make some decisions on some of this stuff. But yeah, so Microsoft show, I think we're going to get maybe 2 game announcements. We're going to get hardware reveal. Maybe they're going to talk more about the new Microsoft Store. Maybe we're going to talk about some new dashboard stuff. Some of the functionality that they kind of showed off before with, going between games really quickly. Like they had it to where you can just swap between 5 games really fast. Maybe go more into like load times and architecture of the console a little bit more. Maybe we'll see some of that kind of stuff. But if that show is not until late August, I hope we get at least the Series X price before then, because Sony just had their show and they didn't say anything really. We saw Crash. We did see one thing that was cool. We saw Alan Wake make an appearance. So that was maybe the highlight for me. That alternate world experience expansion for Control, where Remedy's putting their different franchises together, and Alan Wake is going to be in that. So that's pretty cool. I think. It was a bunch of small stuff. If you were to compare that to like what Microsoft had in May, like Microsoft's May thing would kill this, and it's pretty much the same kind of concept on a show, right? So I think Microsoft still has some big fish. Now the question is, does Sony? You know, so when is Sony's next thing gonna be? Because this wasn't their August thing. Is there gonna be another thing in a couple weeks where we get the hardware reveal and price, or are they gonna just drop it on Twitter? Are we gonna get the Microsoft price now and then maybe the show later? Tell us when these events are. Tell us what to expect. What they're doing is they're stringing us along. They got everybody excited. They got everybody's attention. That's what people are talking about because there's not much else going on around there besides politics and video games, pretty much is what it seems like. Bombs, or not bombs, but, crazy stuff going off and docks and different countries and explosions. I mean, crazy pandemic, crazy stuff going on in the world. But there's been one positive, which is video games. So, let's stop stringing us along because that's all that there is for us to talk about, and just let us know, what it is. There was no reason even to have that PlayStation event, really, for what it was. I mean, if you're just being honest, that's stuff they could have just released little trailers and stuff for. But they're trying to build up this hype and get people excited so people can have something to talk about and keep their name in the headlines and everything, and keep their name on Twitter and social media and stuff. And it's working. It's working. People, the mentions of all the companies and stuff are so high right now, and they know they're the main topic of conversation. So they're just stringing us along. Let's go, guys. Give us the price. So I think one more big event for each company, mainly focused on hardware with a couple of game announcements. Reveal the prices now. Don't even wait for the show. Just give it to us now and have your two big shows at the end of this month. And then that's it until we actually get the freaking consoles, guys. Okay? Let's just get the consoles, One other thing I think is going to be at the Microsoft event is Halo's multiplayer, because we haven't seen that yet. They did tell us it's free to play, so it's going to be a big deal for them, and they need to get as much of that out there as possible. So I think we're going to see some of that. The last thing I wanted to do is kind of give a highlight to a Xbox Game Pass game, because I love Game Pass. I think it's the best value in gaming. And this week, there was a pretty cool game that was put on Game Pass, and that's Darksiders Genesis. So I wanted to mention that so everybody gives it a try. I have it installing right now, and as soon as it's finished, I'm going to be checking it out. So Darksiders Genesis, guys, it's kind of like it's that Darksiders franchise, but it's a like almost Diablo style type game, top-down shooter game. So, I'm going to be checking that out, and I think I've heard good things. So check out Darksiders Genesis. If you don't have Game Pass, I think it's like $39.99 or something on the store. So I'm going to be playing that now. Just think about that, right? It's just one game that they dropped. $39.99. That's over 2 months worth of Game Pass. You can beat this game in way less than that. Just the value, man. Value. And this game, perfect type of game to have on a mobile device, isn't it? So that's all I got. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, this was only my second episode, and I know I probably said unfactual stuff, and I probably made lots of mistakes. If I do, just let me know. Don't crush me. I'm just an average guy that likes to talk about video games and read stuff a lot, and I stay pretty connected to everything going on. Been playing video games my whole life. Love them. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Feedback from me, and if I screwed up on anything, and we'll talk about more games next week. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, follow me, please, on Twitter at Fun Speculation, on YouTube at Fun Speculation, and check out my videos, and I'll keep putting out content. Appreciate you listening, guys. Have a good one. See you next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.